In this video, we're going to look at the Python console inside of QGIS. We're also going to run a few Python scripts just to try out the console. First, we have to figure out how to turn on the console inside the QGIS interface. There's a number of ways of doing it. One, under Plugins, you can choose Python console. You can also toggle it on and off. The other way to do it is using some of the icons in the menu. You can go Python console and toggle that on and off. Or you can hold down the Control, the Alt, and the P key, and that will turn the console on and off. Next, let's add some data so we can play with it using Python. So inside of our exercise files, one, beginning Python data, let's drag and drop the buildings.shp file into our map. The first thing you'll see is what sort of transformation or coordinate system we're going to use. We're definitely going to choose the UTM Zone 10 NAT83. And there we are. So you can see in the bottom corner, it's actually EPSG 26910. So that's the UTM zone we're in. So if I zoom in, you can see that we have buildings. There they are. If I use the identify tool, I'll pick on one of the buildings and you can see that it has data such as type, number of floors, height, and so on. So I'll close the identify results. And next we'll look at the Python console itself. Before we do that, make sure that the buildings are highlighted. So that's the current layer that we're going to be using. And what we're going to do is turn on the active layer or get the active layer using Python. So we'll say layer. So this will be a variable. So that we'll just make up a variable. We don't have to dimension it as a string or anything like that in Python. I can just say this layer equals something. So I'm going to capture those buildings as a variable called layer. And from the interface, so I face, then I hit the period. And that way it gives me all the autocomplete of all the tools the iFace has. So the interface, so the one I actually want is active layer. So I'll start typing again and you'll see active layer. I don't even have to finish typing. I can actually just pick it in the drop down and active layer. And then I can go round bracket, round bracket. So I hit enter. So now you've seen that what I've typed down below next to those three greater than signs, I hit enter and it appeared in the Python console. So this is my history in the top here. So the bottom is the active area. The upper area is the console showing what I've just typed. It'll put the three greater than signs or chevrons next to what I've just entered. You'll see those three there, and then you'll see layer equals iFace active layer. But now that we have the layer, what can we do with it? Well, let's make sure it worked properly. Now, we didn't get an error, so I assume it worked well, but let's just test it. Let's get the name of that layer, make sure it's correct. So if I go layer dot name, and again with the two round brackets, and I hit enter, so now we see the three greater than signs, the three chevrons, layer dot name, that's what I typed. And without any sort of chevron or anything around it, you'll see the word buildings with a single quote around it. So that is actually the name of the layer. Yeah, it matches what's in my layers over here. So you'll look in the layers area, you see buildings, and you'll see in my Python console, buildings there as well. Wasn't that great? So I can do that. I can use the interface for other things. For example, I can show the attribute table for this particular layer. So if I go iFace, so this iFace is pretty handy, and this time I'm going to say show. Now there's a lot of shows popping up, but the one I want to do is show the attribute table. So I'll go A, there it is, attribute table. Now here's the interesting thing about Python, especially within the QGIS project, that you'll see the iFace is there, and then because the show attribute table are basically three words squished together, you'll notice the first word show has a lowercase s, but then the A in attribute is uppercase and the T in table is uppercase. So this style is called camel case. If you look above where it says active layer, we did earlier, where we said iFace.active layer, the L is big. Again, that's called camel case because it's got a humpback like a camel because the middle words are uppercase. So now we have iFace.show attribute table. Show attribute table of what? I have to put the layer that we captured. We know that the layer from above, there's buildings. So basically what we're doing is saying in the interface, show the attribute table of buildings. So if I do that and I hit enter, sure enough, there's the attribute table of all the buildings that we want to see. So I'll close that up. And now the next step would be to do something else like iFace and maybe show the layer properties. See, again, it's camel case, show layer properties. And what properties we want to see of the current layer that we're looking at. And I hit enter. And sure enough, I can change the colors. So for example, I can do any color I want, hit OK, OK, and I've turned it blue. So I've used Python to not only get the active layer, which is buildings, I can do things like show the attributes, get its name, and even change the properties such as the layer. So the Python console is quite powerful. I can do all that sort of stuff using Python. Now, if I want to clear this out, I can just hit the clear console. Okay, and I can run a command. Now I don't have any commands to run. It's the same as me hitting enter. Now there are some properties I can do, such as show editor, and you can actually have a text file with all these pre-typed in, which is great, which is part of having scripts. You can have pre-typed Python all ready to go. So I'll just close that. So toggle that on and off. So we can actually load Pythons into their current session, and actually, rather than having to manually type in all this Python, we can load it when we want to. There's other properties where the autocomplete can use all sorts of things, such as the APIs. So load preloaded APIs. So that's great. We can have all sorts of font colors. If you don't like how big the font is down below, we can change the color. And the console itself, you can have the auto-completion threshold, meaning 2 characters. So you have to start typing at least 2 things before it starts autocomplete, because otherwise it gets really annoying. You type A and something fills in. So 2 is pretty good. In fact, if you find it too annoying with 2 characters, you can increase it to 3 or 4, whatever you'd like, or even turn off autocomplete altogether. That's some of the settings. And there's also the help tools here that you can launch, and it'll open up a browser and you could look at some of the help. So with the Python console, you hit the help button, you get all this active online QGIS help. Okay, let's go back. So now you've seen the Python console, how to toggle it on and off in many different ways, plugins with the menu button, or holding down Control-Alt-P. And you've seen all sorts of tools that are available within Python to control our interface and even to look at some of the layers.